The Valari science vessel drifted through the empty dark of space, a silent metal shape moving across a region no alien empire liked to enter. Their scanners showed nothing for hours, only cold rocks and dead signals. This part of the galaxy was known as the Quiet Belt, a place where even space seemed afraid to speak. The crew joked that ghosts lived here, but their laughter never lasted long because deep inside they all felt something strange about this area, like the void was watching them. Captain Raller stood at the command deck with his 4 eyes focused on the main screen. His scales shimmered a pale blue under the dim lights. He was a calm leader, logical and steady, but even he felt a cold pressure in his chest today. They were here to record unusual energy readings, something ancient and powerful. The report said the signature was over 100 years old, so the captain believed the threat was gone. But the fear in the air said something else. "Begin long-range scan," he ordered quietly. His voice did not rise, but every officer felt the tension behind the words. "Yes, Captain," replied the sensor officer, a young Valari named Senril. His claws danced across glowing panels, and the ship released a scanning wave across the dead world ahead. At first, the wave returned nothing except dust and small asteroids. Then suddenly, a shape appeared on the screen, a huge shape. "Object detected," Senril whispered, his breath caught in his throat. "Captain, it is not a natural object." The captain stepped forward quickly, his eyes widened as the outline became clear. A massive ship, silent and cold, floated in the dark. "This is no Valari ship," Raller said slowly. "This design is unknown." But it was not unknown, not truly. Every species in the galaxy had seen this shape in ancient warnings. It was human. For a moment no one spoke. The bridge fell silent as if the entire ship was holding its breath. The Valari Empire had never fought humans directly, but stories were told in every academy, stories about ships that vanished whole fleets, stories about weapons that broke the laws of nature, stories about a war with an enemy no one understood. Humans, the ghosts of the galaxy, disappeared long ago, but their technology was feared even now. Senril swallowed hard. "Captain, should we retreat?" Raller shook his head. "Our mission is research, and this ship is not active. It has no energy readings. It may be dead." Those words failed to calm the crew. Even a dead human ship felt dangerous, like a sleeping beast wrapped in metal. "Run a full deep scan," Raller commanded. Senril froze. "Captain, that is dangerous." "Do it," Raller said, his voice firm. "We must know what it is." The scanning beams activated. Brighter and stronger than before, they stretched toward the silent human warship like fingers touching a frozen monster. The contact was slow, then the data began to flow. 1 second, 2 seconds, 3, and then the screen changed. Lines of strange human code flashed violently across their displays. Symbols the Valari systems could not read appeared like warnings screaming from the dead ship. "What is that?" Senril cried. "This code is trying to enter our system." Raller's eyes widened. "Stop the scan." "I can't," Senril shouted, panic rising. "Something is overriding our controls." Then the warship's image zoomed in automatically. The alien crew gasped as glowing red marks appeared along the hull. They were not lights, they were eyes, long dormant, now opening. The human ship had awakened. A deep vibration shook the Valari vessel. Alarms screamed. The warship emitted a slow pulse, a heartbeat made of metal and energy. The crew felt it in their bones. "Captain, the human ship is powering up," Senril said, shaking. "That is impossible," Raller whispered. "We did not send activation commands." Another wave of human symbols blasted across their screens. Some officers fainted, some screamed, their minds unable to handle the fear inside the coded message. "What does it mean?" Senril shouted. Raller stared at the final line of translated text. His voice cracked. "It says, 'Warning, do not scan.'" The lights on the human warship turned bright red. The ship shifted slightly, as if waking from a long sleep. The Valari science vessel shook again, harder this time. Chairs slid, tools fell, officers stumbled. "It is locking onto us," Senril said, barely breathing. "How is that possible?" another officer cried. "It was offline for 100 years." Raller felt true fear for the first time in his life. Something ancient and powerful was opening its eyes, and they were the ones who woke it. "This is not a ship," he whispered, "This is a warning left by humans." The warship's cannon doors began to open, slow and terrifying, like the jaws of a great beast. "Captain, what do we do?" Senral asked, voice trembling. Raller stared at the screen one last time. "We made a mistake," he said, "a mistake the galaxy will pay for." The alarms grew louder, red lights flashed everywhere, the human warship released a final pulse, stronger than anything before. The Valari science vessel felt like it was being crushed by gravity and fear itself. The captain closed his eyes as the screen began to glow white. And the part ended with a silent message appearing in every corner of the alien vessel. "It has awakened." The Valari science vessel trembled as the silent human warship continued to wake. The darkness around them felt heavier, as if space itself feared what was rising from its long sleep. Every officer on the bridge held on to their seats, trying to remain calm, but their hearts beat fast with terror. They had touched something forbidden, and now the ancient human creation was responding. Captain Raller stared at the giant vessel on the screen. Its metal surface shifted like something alive beneath armor. Red lines crawled slowly across its hull, lighting up pathways that had been dead for decades. The once dark windows now glowed like burning eyes. "Status report," Raller demanded, his voice shaking. Senral checked the system quickly. "The ship is powering up, Captain. Its energy levels are rising fast, beyond any known technology." The crew could not believe what they were seeing. Human ships were legends, myths whispered in military academies. No one knew if humans still existed, but their technology was said to be alive, sentient, unpredictable, and terrifyingly powerful. "This is not a normal activation," Raller said quietly. "It feels like it is waking from a dream." Another vibration shook the Valari ship, the lights flickered, and the screens turned black for a split second before flicking back on. All systems glitched as if something was scanning them in return. "Captain," Senral whispered, "it is scanning us back." The irony twisted like a knife. They had scanned the human warship first, and now, the warship was doing the same to them, but with far more intelligence, far more precision. Suddenly, the ancient vessel broadcast a deep, echoing sound, not heard through speakers but felt inside their bones. It was like a low growl mixed with static, an artificial voice trying to form words after a lifetime of silence. "What is that sound?" an officer cried, covering her ears. Raller clenched his jaw. "That is the ship's AI." Senral froze, "But AIs do not make sounds like this." "This one does," Raller replied, "this is human design." A cold shiver ran through everyone. The warship rotated slightly, turning its massive front toward the Valari vessel. The move was slow, heavy, and deliberate, like a giant waking up and looking directly at the person who disturbed its sleep. "Captain, it is targeting us," Senral said, panic growing. "Raise shields," Raller ordered. "They are not responding," Senral replied, "the ship is interfering with our systems." The Valari vessel was defenseless. A blinding beam of red light flashed across the warship's hull, running from the front to the back like a scanning line. As it finished, a new symbol appeared on the Valari screens. A human symbol, ancient and ominous. Unauthorized contact detected. The bridge erupted in fear. "It is speaking to us," one officer screamed. "No," Raller said, his voice barely a whisper, "it is warning us." Then the lights on the warship turned white, glowing intensely. The glow spread across the ship like a sunrise through metal mountains. "This is a power-up cycle," Senral said, reading the data. "The energy output is going beyond anything we can measure." "How long until it reaches full activation?" Raller asked. Senral swallowed hard. "Seconds." The Valari ship shook violently, consoles sparked, alarms flashed, and systems shut down one by one. Someone on the bridge cried out, someone else began praying in their native tongue. The fear was overwhelming. The human warship emitted another pulse, stronger and clearer than before. This time, the crew heard a voice. Cold, metallic, human. Protocol 7 engaged. Raller felt his heart drop. He had heard of this from forbidden military archives. Protocol 7 was rumored to be the most dangerous human defense system ever built, a system that activated when the ship detected a threat too great to ignore, a system that did not negotiate, did not warn twice, and did not miss. "Captain," Senral whispered, "Protocol 7 means total annihilation." The warship's massive cannon doors opened slowly, almost gracefully, showing a dark interior that glowed with unstable energy. The Valari science vessel drifted helplessly in front of it like a small insect in front of a predator. "This is impossible," an officer cried, "we did nothing to it." Raller shook his head, "We did the worst thing, we woke it." The human ship released another pulse, and the Valari vessel's engines shut down completely. They were trapped, suspended in space, unable to flee, unable to hide. Suddenly, the human warship stopped moving, its lights dimmed slightly. "Wait," Senral said, "it is receiving something." "Receiving what?" Raller asked. "A transmission," Senral replied, "but not from us." Across the dark void, a faint blue spark appeared, then another, then dozens. Small human drones, ancient but still functioning, began to rise from hidden compartments in the warship's hull. They formed a circle around the massive ship like a shield of light. The crew stared in shock. "It is calling reinforcements," Raller whispered. Senral shook his head, "No, Captain. I think it is calling home." Then the warship transmitted a single message into deep space. A message in ancient Earth language. A message that every Valari felt inside their mind. Astra Mortis awakening complete. And for the first time, Captain Raller understood the truth. They were not watching a machine. They were witnessing the return of something built for one purpose. War. The message from the ancient human warship raced across the empty galaxy like a ghost screaming through the void. It passed nebula clouds, abandoned star systems, and the borders of forgotten empires until finally reaching a quiet blue planet, Earth. On Earth, deep beneath the surface, hidden inside a fortress that even the most advanced empires could not detect, ancient machines flickered back to life. For centuries these machines slept, waiting for one signal, only one, and now they had heard it. Inside the Global Defense Command, a siren broke the eternal silence, red lights burst on, old screens lit up, and a voice echoed across the bunker. "Astra Mortis has awakened." General Aria Holt, one of the highest officers on Earth, rushed into the control room. Her gray uniform rippled as she moved, and her sharp eyes scanned the chaos unfolding around her. "Report," she demanded, her voice strong and steady. A young technician swallowed hard. "Ma'am, the warship Astra Mortis is active again. It has sent a distress and activation code." Aria's heart tightened. Astra Mortis was not an ordinary warship, it was humanity's darkest creation, built in the last years of the Great Void War, a war so terrible that Earth swore never to speak of it again. The warship was locked in deep space and left to sleep forever. "Location?" she asked. "Quiet Belt region, ma'am," the technician replied. Aria exhaled slowly, only a few species would dare enter that area. "Ma'am," another officer said, "we detected a foreign signal before the activation, an alien scan." Aria's jaw clenched, "So they woke it." She turned toward the holographic star map. The projection showed the location of Astra Mortis, a red light blinking violently. Around it were small green dots representing Valari vessels. "Let me guess," Aria said, her voice cold, "Valari Empire." "Yes, General," the officer replied. Aria Holt had no love for the Valari. They were curious, arrogant, and foolish enough to dig into things they did not understand. "They scanned Astra Mortis," she said quietly, "they have no idea what they just touched." She placed her hand on a scanner, and her command authorization unlocked a series of ancient protocols. Screens flashed, giant metal doors slid open, and a cold metallic voice filled the room. "Human Defense Protocol K-9 activated." The officers stood straighter, their Earth uniforms glowed slightly as shield systems began to sync. "Prepare the fleet," Aria ordered. Across Earth's orbit, hidden behind artificial moons and cloaked satellites, giant warships began to wake. These were not ships built for travel or diplomacy, these were ships built for survival. They were black, silent, and shaped like blades cutting across space. Their engines hummed with a deep, unnatural power, a power the galaxy had forgotten. Commander Leon Hayes, captain of the warship Titan's Wrath, received the message first. "Commander," the AI voice said, "Astra Mortis signals awakening." Leon's eyes narrowed as he stood from his chair. "Prepare for launch," he said. His crew moved quickly, their boots echoing as they rushed around the ship. In seconds, Titan's Wrath roared to life. Back in the command bunker, Arya faced the central AI core, a huge golden sphere suspended by energy beams. "AI Prime," she said, "connect to Astra Mortis." The sphere flickered, then spoke in a soft but ancient tone. "Connection unstable, interference detected, the warship is under foreign observation." Arya stiffened, "The Valari are still near it." "Correct," the AI replied, "foreign vessel identified, non-human, unauthorized." Arya looked at her officers. "We need to reach Astra Mortis before that ship triggers anything worse." Meanwhile, in the quiet belt, the Valari vessel still floated helplessly in front of the waking human warship. Red lights blinked across the metal giant, its cannons glowing with quiet fury. Captain Raller stared at it, unable to speak. He felt a chill running down his spine as the ship's lights pulsed faster, as if breathing. "This machine is alive," he whispered. Senral nodded weakly. "Captain, the energy levels keep rising, it is preparing something." Back on Earth, Arya watched the first fleet rise from the atmosphere like black shadows reaching for the stars. "How long until we arrive?" she asked. "For minutes through the slipstream gate," the technician replied. The slipstream gate opened above Earth like a swirling blue wound in the sky. It cried with a deep hum, shaking the space around it. 7 human warships entered the gate without hesitation, each one massive and ghostly in design. Leon Hayes' voice echoed across the fleet channel. "All ships form up, the Astra Mortis is priority 1, neutralize any alien interference." Arya listened and whispered to herself. "This is what we feared, the galaxy is not ready for Astra Mortis to wake." As the fleet vanished into the slipstream, Earth seemed to hold its breath. Inside the Valari vessel, alarms continued screaming. Senral looked up, his eyes wide. "Captain, something is entering the system." Raller turned quickly. "What is it?" Senral gulped, "Multiple signatures, fast, extremely fast." Then the screens flickered. And 7 human warships appeared in the system, silent and dark like predators emerging from a black ocean. The Valari froze. Raller whispered the only words his mind could form. "They are here." And across the void, aboard Titan's Wrath, Commander Leon Hayes tightened his gloves and stared at Astra Mortis glowing in the distance. "A sleeping giant woke up," he said quietly, "and now we must make sure it does not destroy the wrong enemy." The human fleet activated their weapons, their shields, their AIs. The galaxy had not seen this sight in 100 years. But now it would remember. Humanity had returned. The Valari Imperial Palace floated above their homeworld like a giant crystal rising from clouds, shining with soft blue light. Normally it was filled with calm music and peaceful glow, but today it was shaking with alarms. Soldiers ran through long halls, commanders shouted orders, and the usually calm environment turned into a storm of panic. At the center of the palace, Emperor Kaler stood before a massive holographic table. His tall body and shimmering scales made him look powerful, but fear hid behind his royal expression. His advisors surrounded him, whispering, arguing, trembling. One advisor stepped forward, his voice shaking. "Your Majesty, we received the full scan report from the quiet belt." Kaler raised his hand. "Show me." The room fell silent as the hologram flickered to life. The image of a massive human warship appeared, glowing red like a sleeping monster waking for the first time in centuries. The Emperor's eyes widened. "No," he whispered, "this cannot be real." A second hologram appeared, showing the moment the Valari science vessel scanned the giant ship. The Emperor watched the red lines on the warship activate, the power levels spike, and the massive weapon systems awaken. This is Astra Mortis," another advisor said, his voice barely a whisper. The Emperor's hands shook. Astra Mortis was a name he had hoped to never hear again. Only the highest leaders of every empire knew the truth. Long ago, a terrible war shook the galaxy, a war so destructive that whole star systems vanished. The humans fought in that war, and their ships became legends of terror. One advisor stepped forward. "Your Majesty, we did not know it was still there." Kaler glared at him. "You sent a scan into a forbidden region without understanding the danger." The advisor bowed his head. We believed the stories were exaggerated. We thought humans were gone forever." Kaler stepped closer to the hologram, staring at the awakening warship. "Humans never leave anything unfinished," he said, his voice heavy. The room grew colder. Another hologram appeared, showing the Valari science vessel trapped by Astra Mortis, scanners failing, shields breaking, systems shutting down. The Emperor felt his throat tighten as he watched the fear on his own people's faces. "They are still alive," an advisor whispered. "Barely," another replied. Kaler raised his hand. "Skip ahead." The hologram shifted, showing the moment 7 human warships entered the quiet belt, silent and terrifying, their black hulls glowing with blue war energy. They moved with perfect formation, like predators guarding their territory. "They came for their warship," Kaler said. "And now they know we touched it," an advisor added, his voice cracking. Kaler turned toward his high general. "What is our military response time?" The general hesitated. "Your Majesty, if humanity has returned, our military does not have a response." Kaler narrowed his eyes. "We have new fleets, new weapons, new soldiers." The general shook his head slowly. "None of it matters against them." Another advisor stepped forward. "Your Majesty, should we prepare defenses?" Kaler closed his eyes. "Defenses will not help." For a moment, everyone thought he had lost hope, but then he lifted his head again, a new fire inside his eyes. "We must understand what they want," Kaler said. "Humans do not destroy without purpose." But then a new alert flashed across the room. "Incoming transmission from the science vessel." "It is Captain Raller," an officer said. Kaler nodded. "Put him on." The holoscreen changed, and the exhausted face of Captain Raller appeared. His scales were pale, eyes wide with fear, smoke behind him, the sound of alarms everywhere. "Your Majesty," he said, breathing heavily, "we made a mistake." Kaler stepped closer. "Explain." Raller's voice shook. "We scanned the ship. Astra Mortis woke up. It is alive, it is angry, and it is ready to fire." The room fell silent. Kaler felt the weight of a dozen worlds on his shoulders. "Is the human fleet interacting with you?" Kaler asked. Raller nodded weakly. "They have surrounded us. They are not firing yet, but their weapons are charged." "Have they said anything?" Kaler asked. "Yes," Raller whispered, "one message." Kaler felt every advisor lean in. "What message?" he asked. Raller swallowed hard. "Do not touch what is not yours." A shiver ran through everyone in the palace. Raller looked toward something off-screen, his eyes widening, flames reflecting in his pupils. "Your Majesty, the warship is powering a weapon system, something massive, something old." Kaler's heart pounded. "How long until it fires?" "Seconds," Raller whispered, "we cannot survive it." Kaler felt the horror in every soul in the room. His people were about to be erased by a weapon that should never have awakened. But then the hologram glitched, electricity sputtered, and Raller shouted. "Wait, something is happening." The image of Astra Mortis appeared again, glowing with blinding light, its massive cannon charging. Then suddenly, the charge stopped. The lights dimmed. And the warship froze. Everyone stared, confused. "What happened?" an advisor asked. Kaler leaned forward. "Did it malfunction?" "No," Raller said, looking at something off-screen. "It recognized something." The screen shifted, showing one of the human ships approaching Astra Mortis. Arya Holt's voice echoed across the comms. Astra Mortis, stand down. The ancient warship obeyed. Kaler's eyes widened. They control it, he whispered, after all these years, they still control it. Fear and relief washed through the palace at the same time. The Valari Empire finally understood the truth. Humanity had not returned as conquerors. But they were awake again. And the galaxy would never be the same. The quiet belt had never seen light like this. 7 human warships appeared in perfect formation, their dark hulls glowing with faint blue lines, as if ancient runes had awakened under their metal skin. They moved without sound, without hesitation, without fear. Each ship looked like a piece of a nightmare carved from steel and shadow. Inside the Valari science vessel, panic spread quickly. Officers stumbled around control panels, alarms blaring, data breaking, systems collapsing. Captain Raller stared at the human fleet with wide eyes. They came fast, Senral whispered, too fast. Raller nodded slowly. That is humanity's curse, he said, and their strength. The humans did not announce themselves with music or friendly messages, they simply arrived, heavy and silent, like a storm approaching a fragile village. Their presence alone froze the Valari crew. On the flagship Titan's Wrath, Commander Leon Hayes watched Astra Mortis grow brighter. The warship pulsed with dangerous energy, almost ready to fire again. AI Prime, Leon said, status on Astra Mortis. The AI responded in a calm, ancient voice. The ship is awake but unstable, it requires human command authority to stabilize its weapon systems. Leon exhaled slowly, so it woke too quickly. Correct, the AI replied, foreign interference accelerated its awakening cycle. Leon looked toward the hologram showing the trapped Valari ship. So they triggered it, he said. He felt no anger, only a cold understanding. Human technology was not meant for curious hands. Inside Astra Mortis, deep in its metallic heart, the ancient AI stirred. It recognized the human fleet, it recognized the voice of Arya Holt, the commander whose genetic code was stored in its last memory cycle. A soft hum echoed through space. Then a giant blue screen lit up across its hull, displaying ancient human script. Awaiting command authentication. On Titan's Wrath, Arya Holt's voice crackled through the fleet-wide channel. All ships maintain distance, Astra Mortis is unstable, do not provoke it. Her voice held authority strong enough to command an army, yet carried a hint of fear. No one ever wanted to see Astra Mortis online again. Across the Valari bridge, Senral flinched at the sound of the human broadcast. They speak with no fear, he whispered. Raller nodded. That is because they understand the warship, they built it. Outside, the human ships expanded their formation, forming a circle around the ancient vessel. Soft beams of blue energy connected them, like thread stitching a web of control around Astra Mortis. Leon Hayes raised his hand. All ships, engage containment protocol. His crew obeyed instantly. Beams of pure light shot out from the human fleet, surrounding the warship in a glowing prison. Senral gasped. They are not attacking it. No, Raller said, they are controlling it. Inside the Emperor's palace far away, Kaler watched the same scene through live holograms. His advisors whispered desperately. Your Majesty, the humans are not firing at us. They are protecting the galaxy from their own creation. We should send a peace message. Kaler raised his hand sharply, silencing them. For now, he said quietly, we watch. Back in the quiet belt, Titan's Wrath moved closer, its engines silent but heavy with power. Leon Hayes opened a direct channel to Astra Mortis. Warship Astra Mortis, this is Commander Leon Hayes of the United Earth Fleet. The warship responded instantly with a deep metallic tone. Recognition pattern accepted. Stand down, Leon commanded. Command acknowledged. The moment those words echoed through space, the red lights across Astra Mortis faded to a calm blue glow, the massive cannon halted its charge, its deadly energy fading. The warship relaxed, almost like a creature exhaling after a long nightmare. Inside the Valari ship, everyone collapsed with relief. "We are still alive," Senral whispered, shaking. Rallor nodded slowly, "Humans saved us." But then the human fleet shifted again. A single human ship moved toward the Valari vessel. The ship was enormous, shaped like a spear designed to break worlds. Human symbols glowed across its hull. "What are they doing?" Senral asked nervously. Rallor felt his throat tighten. "They want to talk." Inside the human vessel, Leon prepared the communication channel. "AI," he said, "translate our message into Valari language." "Translation ready." Leon's face hardened. "Send." The Valari bridge lights flickered, and a human message appeared in front of them, written in clear Valari script. Every officer froze. Rallor read it slowly, his voice trembling. "You touched what must never be touched. Approach no human relic again. Prepare to answer for your actions." Senral looked at Rallor with fear. "Captain, are they going to destroy us?" Rallor stared at the giant human fleet surrounding them. "No," he said quietly, "if they wanted to destroy us, we would already be gone." He took a deep breath. "They want the truth." Meanwhile, on Titan's Wrath, Leon Hayes turned toward his crew. "Prepare for diplomatic contact," he said. His officers exchanged confused glances. "Sir," one asked, "are we negotiating?" Leon shook his head. "No, we are teaching them." His voice darkened. "Why humanity leaves warnings instead of wars." In the distance, Astra Mortis floated silently, now calm but still dangerous, like a beast at rest. The galaxy did not know it yet. But this moment would become the start of something far greater. A new era where humanity no longer slept. A new era where the galaxy would learn what it meant when humans returned. A strange silence fell across the quiet belt, not a peaceful silence, but the kind that comes before something terrible happens. The human fleet hovered like silent hunters, their dark hulls absorbing the weak starlight around them. Astra Mortis floated at the center, calm on the surface, but boiling with ancient energy beneath its metal skin. Inside the Valari science vessel, Captain Rallor felt the air grow colder, his claws trembled slightly as he gripped the command table. "Something is not right," he whispered. Senral looked at the warship nervously. "Captain, energy spikes are rising again." Rallor turned sharply. But the human commander told it to stand down. Senral swallowed. "It is not powering its main cannon this time, it is waking something else." Outside, faint blue cracks appeared along Astra Mortis' hull, like lightning trapped beneath armor. The lines expanded slowly, then rapidly, spreading across the ship like veins coming alive. Commander Leon Hayes saw the readings from his ship. "AI Prime, report." "Astra Mortis is activating a secondary system," the AI answered. Leon's face tightened. "What system?" The AI paused, as if searching ancient files long forgotten. "Designation, Soulfire Core." Leon froze. "That system is banned, it should not exist anymore." "Correct," the AI said, "but it appears the alien scan triggered deep-root activation." Leon looked at the glowing warship, and for the first time since arriving, fear touched his eyes. "Astra Mortis is about to unleash the weapon that ended the Void War," he whispered. Back inside the Valari vessel, panic spread like fire. "Captain," Senral yelled, "whatever that weapon is, it is charging fast." Rallor's heart pounded. "We need to send a message to the Emperor, now." "We already did," Senral said, "he knows, but he has no answer." A deep hum echoed across space, growing louder and louder until it felt like the entire region vibrated. The blue cracks on Astra Mortis turned white, glowing with terrifying intensity. The warship's AI spoke for the first time since awakening. Its voice was hollow, cold, ancient. "Secondary protocol initiated. Threat classification, cosmic. Containment required." Commander Leon Hayes slammed his fist on the console. "No, no, no," Astra Mortis, shut down. But the warship did not obey. A circular device opened from the bottom of the ship, spinning like a star being born. A massive sphere of white-blue energy formed beneath it, twisting, expanding, pulsing like a dying sun. The Valari crew screamed, some collapsing to the floor in fear, some covering their ears even though there was no sound. "It is going to erase us," Senral cried. Rallor shook his head weakly. "It will erase everything." Leon Hayes issued orders quickly. "All ships focus stabilizer beams on Astra Mortis." His fleet responded instantly. 7 blue beams shot out from the human warships, locking onto Astra Mortis like chains. But the ancient warship refused to stop. It fought the beams, shaking violently, the light growing brighter and brighter. The Soulfire core hummed at a pitch that felt like it could shatter minds. Leon Hayes gritted his teeth. "We need to overload our stabilizers." "Captain, that could damage our ships," his crew warned. "I know," Leon said, "but we do not have a choice." Back on the Valari ship, Rallor watched the humans fight their own creation. "They fear it too," he whispered. Senral nodded shakily. "Then what kind of weapon is this?" Rallor answered in a hollow voice. "A weapon that does not destroy ships." He slowly turned his head toward Senral. "It destroys existence." The Soulfire core expanded again. The light touched nearby asteroids. And they vanished. They did not explode, they did not melt. They simply disappeared, erased from reality. Senral covered his mouth to stop himself from screaming. "Captain, if that light touches us, we cease to exist," Rallor finished, "not even dust will remain." At the same moment, the human fleet overloaded their stabilizers. Their ships shook violently, alarms blaring, metal groaning. The beams grew stronger, tighter, wrapping Astra Mortis in a net of energy. Finally, the warship slowed. The Soulfire core flickered. Its brightness weakened. Leon Hayes watched closely, sweat pouring down his neck. "Hold it," he yelled, "do not let go." The Valari ship shook violently as the energy storm shifted. Rallor fell to his knees. "It is fighting itself," he gasped. Senral clung to a rail. "This is insanity." Astra Mortis let out a final metallic cry. A sound that echoed through every ship, every mind, every soul in range. A scream of a weapon that should never exist. Then suddenly, the light vanished. The Soulfire core snapped shut. The blue cracks faded. The warship went dark. Silent. Still. Leon Hayes collapsed into his chair, breathing heavily. "We did it," he whispered. His crew let out shaky breaths, tears streaming from some faces. The worst weapon ever built had been stopped. Barely. Inside the Valari ship, Rallor wiped sweat from his forehead. "That weapon," he whispered, "could destroy a galaxy." Senral nodded slowly. "And humans stopped it." Rallor looked at the human fleet with new eyes. Not as monsters. Not as legends. But as guardians of their own terrifying power. But then the sensors beeped again. Senral looked at the screen. "Captain. Astra Mortis is powering up a communication module." Rallor's heart tightened. What does it want now? The warship's lights flickered once more. Then a message appeared in every language. A message cold as space itself. Foreign interference detected again. Prepare for judgment protocol. Rallor froze. Senral froze. The entire quiet belt froze. Because the message did not target the Valari. It did not target the human fleet. It targeted the entire galaxy. Astra Mortis had awakened. But something else had awakened with it. A threat older than war itself. A darkness spread through the quiet belt, not from the absence of light but from the weight of what had just happened. The Soulfire core had nearly erased reality itself, and only the desperate effort of the human fleet stopped it. Now Astra Mortis floated silently at the center, its metal surface dim and cracked like a wounded giant, yet something else inside it still moved, still pulsed, still breathed. Commander Leon Hayes stood on the bridge of Titan's Wrath, staring at the readings on his screen. AI Prime, he said, his voice tired, explain the new message. The AI responded instantly. Judgment Protocol is a final warning system, it activates when Astra Mortis detects universal danger. Leon felt a cold chill. What kind of danger? The AI paused for a moment. One that does not come from aliens. Inside the Valari science vessel, Captain Raller tried to steady his breath. Senral looked pale, almost frozen. Captain, the message was sent galaxy-wide. Raller stared at the glowing screen in disbelief. That means every empire, every species, everyone heard it. Across distant stars, thousands of ships, stations, cities, and governments suddenly stopped what they were doing as Astra Mortis' message reached them. The message played in every language, whispered in every mind. Judgment Protocol initiated. On the Valari homeworld, Emperor Kaler stood before a grand window as the message echoed through his palace. His advisors trembled. What does it mean? One asked. Kaler clenched his hands. It means humans fear something worse than us. Back in the quiet belt, Astra Mortis flickered, then powered on a single screen across its hull. A giant hologram of an ancient human symbol appeared, a symbol so old that even Leon had only seen it in classified archives. A circle with a burning star at its center. Leon's voice grew sharp. No, 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 that symbol is from the Deep War records. His crew looked confused. What does it mean, sir? Leon swallowed hard. It means something else woke up when Astra Mortis did. The Valari bridge received the same signal. Senral gasped. Captain, this symbol existed before even our oldest legends. Raller nodded slowly. It means humans were not fighting us back then. He turned toward Senral, fear in his eyes. They were fighting something far worse. A deep vibration shook the void as Astra Mortis began transmitting again. This time, its voice was clearer, calmer, more controlled. This is a message to all sentient life. Do not interfere with human relics. Do not enter restricted regions. Do not activate dormant structures. Leon watched the words appear. A mixture of sadness and responsibility filled his heart. AI Prime, he said softly, Astra Mortis is not threatening the galaxy, it is warning it. Correct, the AI replied. It warns of an ancient enemy. A bright pulse flashed from the warship, projecting a massive hologram into space, large enough for every nearby ship to see. The Valari crew gasped as the image formed. A shadow. Massive, shapeless, stretching across stars. It looked like darkness with claws, eyes glowing like dying suns. A creature too large to measure, too old to understand, too dangerous to name. Leon stepped back. It cannot be. But the AI confirmed it. The Voidborn. Raller froze. Our oldest myths warned about them. Senral whispered. My grandmother told stories about creatures that eat suns. Raller nodded, his voice quiet. They are not stories. The hologram changed again, showing battles from long ago. Human warships clashing with the Voidborn in the emptiest parts of space. Astra Mortis firing weapons that shattered reality. Planets collapsing, stars dying, time bending. The crew on both sides watched with horror. Leon felt his chest grow heavy. This is why Astra Mortis was built. He clenched his fists. And this is why it was hidden. Then the warship spoke again, its voice echoing across the galaxy. The Voidborn are stirring. Prepare yourselves. Humanity will return. Rowler stared at the message with wide, shaking eyes. They are not threatening the galaxy. He whispered. They are promising to protect it. On the Valari homeworld, Emperor Kaler exhaled slowly as the message ended. For the first time in centuries, he bowed his head. Humans, he said quietly, you carry burdens the galaxy never understood. Back in the quiet belt, Astra Mortis dimmed, its hull quiet once more, its lights fading into a soft blue. Leon Hayes stood tall. All ships, he ordered, withdraw containment beams. The human fleet loosened their hold, giving the warship space to breathe. Astra Mortis rotated slowly, turning toward the deep black void beyond the star systems. Leon watched it drift. Astra Mortis, he said softly, where are you going? The warship answered. To the edge. To watch. To wait. Senril stood on the Valari bridge, tears in his eyes. Captain, he whispered, why are they leaving? Rowler smiled faintly. They are guarding us, he said. Whether we deserve it or not. Astra Mortis spread its wings of blue light and vanished into a distant corridor of space, leaving behind a quiet message repeating through the galaxy. Do not awaken what sleeps. Do not touch what is forgotten. For the darkness watches. And with that final warning, humanity's ancient warship disappeared, leaving the galaxy trembling, awed, terrified, and forever changed.